This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, so I think this is the recording which we got started. Yep. So yes, myself is Rajesh Kumar. I'll be your host for this today's sessions and many other upcoming sessions as well. So let me share some of my experiences which I have got so far. So I've started my career in 2005, and since then I've been working with many organizations with the various responsibilities as well. So some of the organizations where I have worked, which includes Accenture, Mindtree, uh, IBM Lab, Nest Technology, Adobe System, Intuit, ServiceNow, GDA, Codex. So these are the organizations I have worked with. Some of the roles and responsibility which I played, which includes starting with the programming, then build and release, then DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, microservices, CI/CD containers. So yeah, various domains I have worked with it, and the same thing I'm going to share with you throughout these sessions. So today we have a first sessions for the I think four batch we have today. We have we have people from DevOps also. We have people from SRE also. We have people from DevSecOps also, and a few people who have joined from the Master in MD also, Master in DevOps Engineering. So yes, Master in DevOps Engineering, including everything, means if I put it in simple, that means DevOps plus DevSecOps plus SRE is equal to MD. So we'll get started. Uh, and we'll keep the Q&A session at the end of it. So if you have any questions and answers, if you need any answers, I'll help you with it at the end of this session. Okay, so now today, because the first session, we are going to understand primarily three questions: what is DevOps, what is DevSecOps, and what is SRE? These are the three questions we are going to understand in today's sessions, and followed by after this session, this is the only this is the only theoretical sessions which we have. After that, any sessions which you may attend, we have tools training like tools and platforms training such as Docker, AWS, Jenkins, and blah 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 things. So yes, all of you must be having your own revised agenda. So this is the something which you might have got it. Uh, and if you don't have, you may ask your I mean training coordinator for this. But from this month on only, we have you have guys, can you hear me? Because I think some people are buzzing on the WhatsApp saying that they
Yeah,
can't hear me.
I can hear you, Rajesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
This is
So
Anil.
is
I can hear you, please.
yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So this is the first batch with the new agenda actually. So earlier the agenda when I revised for DevOps, DevSecOps, and SRE was 3 years before. I think 2.5 years before. I've seen that lots of progress in the domain, and I have added few tools. Additionally, I have removed few tools. So July 2020 batch, the one which you are having right now, you are having the list of up-to-date tools actually. Yeah, and one of the good collections of tools which definitely help you in your projects and jobs and interviews and stuff like that. Okay, so let's get started. So first question is what is DevOps, correct? So are you able to see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see.
Yes, yes, I can see.
Yeah. The only thing is this, I want to minimize it, but I think yes, I got it how to minimize it. Yeah. So so guys, this is something. Let me put it in this way. You are not learning any great things. Okay, so if you're thinking like DevOps is like something which uh, we are learning something different than traditional software development or something like that. No. Okay. DevOps, SRE, DevSecOps is nothing but the current form of the DevOps, which you see, is nothing but the over the period of time we have got technology changed, we have got the environment change, we got the way we do the software engineering got changed, architecture got changed. We as a people also, how we consume the software also has changed. So so everyone have come up like best practitioners for the software development. They have come up with some of the best strategy to cope up with, to support ever-changing environment, right? So that's something. So do not think like DevOps is something different, which you were not doing earlier, and now you have to do that. No, let's say evolution. Actually, we need to change over the period of time, and that is what the DevOps we will go through that. So in order to understand the DevOps, we need to understand what you've been doing in 1990s, right? And then 2000 and 2020s onwards. This is just for the visualization purpose, so you understand that how we are evolving. So primarily, our focus would be on software platform. A platform, when I say that, means where we run the software. So in your laptop, you run the software, right? But if you go to the data centers, we run the software in multiple hardwares, multiple virtual machines, or something like that. So that's one criteria to understand DevOps. So software platform has evolved over the period of time. Setup time also has, dramatically changed. I remember when I was working with Mindtree, I used to spend at least 3 to 4 hours for every deployment setup for the QA team, and something which we are not doing nowadays. Hardly a few seconds and setup is ready. So that is also we need to discuss consumptions. Software consumptions also has been changed. If you're from the old schools, you know that you were installing the software in laptop. Still, we are installing the software in laptop. But don't think in that way. We are a software engineer. The way we consume the software is matter right now. You need to look at that how this how this end user is consuming the software, how the end user is consuming the software, how your parents are consuming the software, how your kids are consuming the software, because they are not software developers, right? They are the consumers for the software. So we will keep this parameter also. Delivery. How do we deliver the software? That's one more parameter. Release cycles. Release cycles. Okay. And architecture of the software as well, and then development model also. So these are the criteria which we will keep it as part of software development process. Okay, so if you go back in the 1990s, platform were desktop, because at that time internet were not there. Platform were desktop, and then setup time. Let's say if I want you to install the software from scratch, everything. So probably just one day, just for visualization purpose, how we were consuming the software through console. That means some UI were there in your desktop. Still, we are having UI for that. With that, we call it console. Software delivery. How we delivering the software? CDs. Well, we know that. Still, I have a collections of 200 CDs, which is lying from my school days. I mean college days. So CDs. Release cycle. Look at the software developers, Microsoft and Adobe. How frequently they used to do the release? Once in a year, right? So every year they will come up with one release in Microsoft Office or operating systems or some other tools also. What was the architecture of the software? Monolithic. Monolithic means, in a simple way, we have hundreds of features in the software, but packaged in one. Okay, packaged in one. That's like a exe. You get it from MS Office. I'm sure you might have installed it. You install this one exe, and you see you get Word also. You get a PowerPoint also. In Word itself, you have hundreds of features like a bold, italic, paragraph, H1, this, that, and stuff. So hundreds of features of the software, and it's bundled together. We call it monolithic. Okay, and the development model at that time, if uh, if not, then waterfall model. And all of us, I believe, we understand the waterfall model. Before waterfall model, we had a network model also. We had a hierarchical model also. But let's not go, you know, into that. But yeah, we had. So this is the some of the characteristics what we had in 1990s. This is for you as a software developers, right? So if you're a software developer from 1990s, these are the characteristics. Now this is the waterfall model. So here we understood that, see, there was no internet at that time, so deployment was not happening every day. People were isolated, right? I have my desktop, you have your own desktop. Everyone will have their own desktop. They will install the through CDs. So the requirement at that time was not too quick delivery, okay, but quality delivery and then saving the cost on in the software development. So that was the organization. So these are the three keywords I'll use all the time. One is immediate delivery, immediate release, we call it on day-to-day basis. Immediate release. You will come this terminologies a lot while working with your team. I need to do immediate release, right? That's a second terminologies which we need to do. We need to remember is like improve the quality of the software as a team, as an individual. And third thing, reduce the software development and running cost. Okay, so this is the three criteria. I'll have discussions around it. So yeah, coming back to the point, at that time, softwares were not sorry, softwares were not connected with each other. We were using the software in isolated environment. So at that time, the practitioners for the software development, they realized that we don't need an immediate delivery, though we can release once in a year or once in a 2 year, that's okay. So that way we will have the quality of the software and software development costs at least we'll be having in a control. So that is what it's been thought out throughout those eras because of these characteristics. So we got waterfall model. You know that waterfall model, everything we do in the phase-wise manner. So first we'll do the first thing what we do, we gather the complete requirement, all 10, let's say you want the software, right, with hundreds of requirement. So we will do the hundreds of requirement together. And then we design the hundreds of requirement together. Then we develop hundreds of requirement together. And then we verify and then maintenance. So it was a linear approach actually. That means first you have to finish the requirement analysis, then design, then implementation, then verification, then maintenance. It's a linear approach. Because because our end user were not using software in a connected environment, they were distributed, they were isolated, and they were not buying the software every day. They don't wanted to buy the software every day. So for that reason, okay, for that reason, we've practitioners followed the waterfall model, correct? And we all understand that's nothing great about it. We all understand this also. Okay, so there's some noise coming from someone. Would you mind if you can mute yourself? That will be great. Else, can I try muting everyone?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, mute every day, everybody, mute all. Yeah. So I hope if anyone would like to comment on this, like if you guys can hear me or did I mute myself also?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So so this is the stuff. which we had nothing great about it. We all know that, right? So why we opted for the waterfall release? I said these three lines I'm going to use a lot. Probably you'll get irritated from these three lines. But today we are learning DevOps. Tomorrow you learn something else. Maybe after 2 years, something else will come up. And the fundamental reason behind the change will be this one only. Okay, every time we want to improve the quality of the software, every time we want to do the immediate release of the software, faster release, and cost reduction in development and runtime. Okay, anyways, so that was a 1990s era. Then we got the internet, and we know that we got the internet. So when we got the internet, then we started exploring the options to consume the software over the browser. Still, you are doing nothing great about it. Correct? Think about it. Earlier, you were running the software in your own PC, but now we have to run in data center, some large data center, and then people will access the software through the browser, right? So something has to change, right? Something has to change. So every parameter has to change because that platform got changed, right? So what we decided in 2000, let's do one thing. Let's run software in virtual servers, VMs. Okay. Nothing great. You also understand that VMs, virtual machines and all. In fact, I have a 30 to 40 minutes of sessions planned for it through one of the session in Linux. So virtual servers, right? So we started running the software in a virtual server. Why? The reasons was simple: cost reduction, speed, you get it, correct? So now, because of the virtual servers, the setup time got reduced to 5 minutes. That means if you want to run a software, you know that you just do what? You go to the VMware, create one VM, install the software. Maybe you don't have to install also if you have a package ready, image ready in that with the software. Or you go to AWS, create a VMs, or go to the Azure, create a VM, and done. Hardly it'll take in Azure and AWS, if you have image ready, hardly it'll take 20 seconds or something like that. So we started consuming the software through the browsers. How the delivery? Most probably download. Release cycles, 2 weeks. Why 2 weeks? So earlier we were doing the release in 1 year. Now 2 weeks, we have changed drastically, right? So the release in 2 weeks rather than 1 year. Anyone?
Sorry, what was it?
Simple, guys. Reasons are very simple. Let's say my question was earlier when we were having the software not with the running not with the internet, so we had a release cycle 1 year. But now, after that, once the internet came, we started getting the release cycle of 2 weeks. Correct, now?
Yes.
Why we reduced to 2 weeks?
Obviously, because of the demand.
Yep, yeah. So let me add one more points to your points. See, in 2001 onwards, when you started accessing application on the internet, let's say your Hotmail, or let's say your Orkut, or some other application which you are using in those times, if it's not accessible, would you use it? No, correct? So you want to do the software development faster, and you want to do the bug fixing also faster, correction based also faster. So let's say 1 lakh people are using MS Office, out of which 1 lakh 1,000 people have a problem. No problem. Microsoft will say no problem. We will release the fixes after 6 months. or 1 year or 3 months, right? But here, there is only one software we are using actually, which is internet based. It's running in the server. So if that software has a problem, then we have to fix it faster. Simple reason. Because we all are using the same software. If one people are getting impacted, that means millions of people will get impacted. So the reputation of the company and product will go away, go into the wrong direction, right? So we reduce the release cycle. So did we started doing lots of work? Actually, no. What happened? Earlier we were doing the hundreds of features release in a 1 year. Now in a 2 weeks we do only two, three, four, five release or five features release only. So we reduce our work. What was the architecture then? Software development architecture. So from monolithic we had to migrate to SOA. SOA means service oriented architecture. Nothing great about it, you know that, right? Service oriented architecture means now we got the concept of web server and then app server and then database. This is the tier based architecture we got it. Anyone would like to tell me what is the web server which you know, which are the popular one? Anyone?
IIS or Apache.
Yes. Nginx, Apache, IIS, these are the web server. App server, probably you can keep it for Tomcat, popular one, right? JBoss, WebLogic, and many more are there. Database like MySQL, MSQL, Oracle, and other stuff. So yes, we got architecture-based reach. That means if you want to run software with the internet, then you have to run with SOA architecture. So we started designing the architecture. So at that time, what they realized that they means when I say practitioner, the great minds in the software industry, right? Software practitioner, they realize, hey, listen, our platform got changed, the setup time has to be reduced, consumption is got changed, delivery model has been changed, release cycle has been changed, architecture also we have to change, but software development model we have not changed. So what to do? So from the waterfall, we migrated to agile. Okay, agile development. Those who are not aware, I think most of us will be aware with agile, but those who are not aware, let me put it in a simple line. Agile means instead of doing 100 features in a year, do only 5 features in 2 weeks. That's all. Complete the 5 features end to end in 2 weeks. That's called agile process. Means accept the small work and complete it, and keep accepting the small work and keep working as a team here. So you know what happened? There is a one important thing has happened which I am not depicting here in the slides, and that is, remember that in waterfall model we had an architect team, and then we had development team, then we have a testing team, then we had operations team. So for every phases, if you remember the waterfall model, we had a separate team. Remember team, I am saying TEAM, multiple team. We had it for the only one object, multiple team. Please remember that. Again, I am repeating. In waterfall model, we had a multiple team for only one objective. Objective was to release the software with the quality and at the better cost. So understand that the problem which you have is like when you have a multiple team, then you have a multiple culture, multiple mindset, multiple tool set, multiple practices, multiple principles, multiple policies. And then when we have so many things which is multiple, conflict automatically will occur. So your objective was to release the software faster, better, and under the quality, under the cost. But because of multiple teams is working on the same objective and they have a different things altogether, then tends to delay the things. So in Agile, what we did, hey, let's do one thing. Let's meet every day. In Agile meeting, we call it 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Everyone means architect also will come, development team also will come, test team also will come, Operations people also will come at a limited scope. But most of the time, if you see architect, development, and testing team will sit together every day and 15 minutes they'll discuss, okay, what is the roadblock? That means what we did basically in agile methodology, what we did, we combined at least that we brought these three teams together to work together. Which teams? Dev team, QA team, and architect team. Not operations at this time because they were in a different world altogether. So this is the agile. Okay, so this is the transformation which we have got till 2000. All of you are comfortable with this evolution, nothing great. We all have experience. If until you are freshers from this year, that's a different case. But yeah, so now this is the sprint agile stuff like that. You can study a little bit offline also over the agile process for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and stuff like that. But in a simple way, I'll put it up. Instead of working on the multiple tasks, work in the too many tasks, work in some task which can be completed as a team in 2 weeks, 1 week, or 3 weeks, something like that. Again, what was the reason for that? Why we migrate to agile? We migrated to agile because of the same reason. Nothing great about it, right? Same reason we had migrated, and now we got the different ways to consume the software. See, earlier we were using browser, where in our laptop, desktop, whatever you want to call it. Then now the world has changed with the devices now, from the desktop to devices. And now I'm having 5 phones right now in my home. So you know that how you are consuming the software. You must be having at least 1 phone, 2 phones consuming the software. And how we are consuming the software, it's not become browser based, though we are accessing sometime browser and all. But most of the time, more than 90%, I believe, guesses, you are consuming through the app. Which app? WhatsApp app, GoToMeeting app, Gmail app, Facebook app, Instagram app, YouTube app, this app, that app, Uber app, Ola app, HDFC Bank app, ICICI Bank app, Flipkart app, Amazon app. Don't you? So you are using the app in the devices. So the world has again changed. Once again has changed. And you know what? The beauty of it is in this world, we all are connected. Let me remind you, you are using the same Facebook application which I am using. You are using the same Instagram which I am using. You are using the same HDFC Bank or Uber or Ola which I am using. We all are connected together. We are all connected, and this again same thing is popping again and again. And management is saying, hey, we have to improve the quality of the software to software engineers. Then they are saying, hey, we need to reduce the cost also. Why? Because we are not paying for the software now. See, have you ever paid for YouTube? Think about it. Have you ever paid for the Instagram? Have you ever paid for the Google searches, which is very important for you? Have you ever paid for any other software which you are using on day-to-day basis? No, you are not paying for it, but you are using for it. So if you remember that Gmail earlier, I think we got 250 MB or 500 MB, we got it in the first release. Now you have 15 GB. You are consuming day and night YouTube streaming services. See, I'll tell you my last month, the watch hours for the videos which you offer through DevOps School LMS. Okay, we have LMS also. All of you will get access soon. And we have videos also. We have more than 500 hours of videos for the different tools and technologies. And watch hours for the last month bill has come somewhere close to 50,000. I mean, somewhere close to, you can say, $800. Why? Because I'm hosting those services. We are hosting those services. So we have to pay for it to the cloud provider like AWS. But have you imagined How many videos you are consuming on YouTube? At least 2 to 3 hours per day. See, you may not consume learning videos too much on LMS, but I'm sure you will consume lots of videos on YouTube for the fun, comedy, this, that, news, and all stuff like that, right? Have you paid for that? So the question is very simple. How the organization, the new generation organizations will do the quality software development, so downtime will be less, cost will be minimized for the running and development, and speed they can get it. Immediate release actually. How would they get it? Okay, that's a question around it. So now the challenge what we have is for the organization who's running the software. For example, your company, my company, all of us are, we all are software engineers, right now. So you have to think in terms of software engineers also, and same time we need to think in terms of end users also. So the reality is right now, because of we have migrated from the older to new model, we have only one version of software, only one Ola is there, only one Uber is there, only one Facebook is there, and we all are connected with the software together. And our expectations are very simple: 24 by 7 up and running without even single second of downtime. That's the expectation. Let me put it straightforward. Let's say if Ola is not running for just 5 seconds, what you'll do? You'll migrate to Uber. Second day, if it is not running, what you'll do? You'll migrate to Uber. And third day again, if you experience same thing, you know what? Your first app, preferred app, would be your Uber only. So Ola have lost you. So this kind of things which we are having is very competitive, right? Same goes with ICICI Bank versus HDFC Bank, or same goes with the Amazon.com versus Flipkart.com. So yes, this is the trends in software consumption. So what to do now? You have to change, you have to evolve. What to do now? You have to change. You have to change. So we have changed actually in 2020s where we are running a software. Where do we run a software? So in 2020s, we are running software in containers. Yes, my question is to you. Do you know what is container? If you don't know, then you are in right class. We'll teach you. Because we are teaching you nothing great. We are teaching you the process which you can adopt it in the current year, this year. Okay, so why? Because organization has certain objective which I've been repeating multiple times. They want to get you those objective done. And if you are being a software engineer, if you cannot get those objective done, this objective, this one, okay, then what is the use of you? They hire you. No use, right? If you can't, if you say the software engineer cannot get the objective done for the organization, they will not hire us, right? So we need to change ourselves also. Change yourself also. Start changing your mindset. So tomorrow, if you want to run applications, or maybe after today, if you want to run application, you should not run in the desktop. You should not run in a laptop. You should not run in a virtual machine. You should run in the container. If you are not running in the container, that means you are still from the old school. And organizations will not need you actually. They need someone who can run application in a container. Then you will say, why we need to run application in container? Because setup time is 1 second. Container will save lots of cost for the organizations. Save time actually. And whatever the time you saved it, you can spend with a good quality code and testing process rather than setup process. Remember that I said when I started my career, I used to spend 4 hours just to set up a software every day. Now 1 second in containers. 1 second in the container. So we are consuming apps now, you know that, and we have a delivery model store, Play Store, App Store, you know that. So release cycle has to be reduced as well. 1 hour. In what sense I'm talking about? Understand this way. Let's say if there is one issues in Ola, so would you inform to all of your customers saying that, hey, let's wait for 2 weeks, we will fix that issue? Will they accept it? You know that what's you going to answer them? You're going to bump in the Play Store review place or start creating a feedback review and all. Hey, this is the worst application which I have seen. This is the work services. They are never up and running. You know that what you will do very well. So the problem for the Ola is to hire some engineers, some good engineers, which who can do the development and testing and operation, means deployment to the production, in 1 hour. They fix the issues. They first see the issue, analyze the issues, develop the issues, test the issues, and deploy with the new software, new changes within 1 hour. I'm just giving you the way to understand. Maybe sometime less, sometime more, just to put it in the context. I hope you understand this. So that's that's the release cycle actually. So now with this change environment, architecture also has to be changed. Now we'll say to your manager, I can't do the coding, I can't do the analysis in so many times, so much of time. I mean, so much means 20 minutes. I can't do the coding in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I can't do this one. What do you say? Testing in 10 minutes. Ops team will say, hey, I can't deploy in 5 minutes or something. That's the problem, right? So change the microservices, change the architecture of the software. So now you are not doing entire software development, only one function. Let me remind you, in a software, you may have 500 functions, out of which what I am asking you to just change one function, maybe 500 lines of code. Can't you change it? One part of it. Can't you test that only functionality, CRUD operations for the microservices? One services. Can't you do the testing for the 500 code, 500 lines of code? Can be done, right? So change the architecture altogether. So you need to know microservices in detail. You need to know, you need to understand that what is microservices, what are the benefits we get it, how to design, what is the principle of microservices, how can we adopt the microservices, and all stuff like that. So you have to change yourself. You need to know microservices. And we need to change the development model as well. And that is called DevOps. So just to give you the inner context, just to give you in a context, if you really want to help your organizations and you want to be, in this year, then you should know how to run application in a container, how to write and test and deploy the software in a microservices. And all this model, what we call it, you may call it, it's exactly not a model, but still I'm putting in the same bracket because I want you to understand in the right way. Okay. So you have to migrate from the agile to DevOps model. DevOps model or DevOps process, practices, whatever you want to call it, but you have to do that. So are you getting the context? All of you? What exactly the DevOps is? DevOps is all about the adopting new technology, new process, new environment, and practice it in and deliver the objective of the organizations. All of you, are you understanding?
Yes, right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's nothing great, guys. Nothing we are doing different, right? Same thing, right? We still, but there's one change has happened from the agile to DevOps. What change? Remember that. I'll again remind you, all of you, one important thing. In waterfall model, we have, let's say, 6 phase for the software development. So for the each phase, we had a different team. I repeat, different team. In waterfall model, we have a 16. So we were doing the release in once a year. But agile model, what we did, we brought it this architect, development, and QA people together. Yes, and we started calling agile team. So now from the 3-6 team, we got at least 3 teams merged together. We call it agile team, and then we got operations team. So here you can call it agile team is like engineering team and operations. This is the terminology which we started using it. Hey, engineering team or ops team. Ops team will manage the production servers. Engineering team who will do the architect design and development and testing in agile. But in DevOps, what happened, in DevOps, understand that in DevOps, you are supposed to do everything. Yes, please remember that. It's very important things to understand. In DevOps, you are supposed to do everything. That means your team, there's only one team. I repeat, there is only one team in the organization for one product. That's called DevOps team. And DevOps team will have members who will do the development also, testing also, operations also, everything they will do that. See, earlier we had a multiple teams. Slowly we got a few teams. Now there's one team actually, and that's called DevOps team. So DevOps team theoretically are supposed to do everything from the architect to development, development to design, design to development, development to testing, and testing to operations. So if you have one team, you can't blame others, right? You can't blame saying that, hey, this team is a problematic. Other teams are problematic. We got delay because of them. No, because you are from the same team. I'll put it in a very simple way. I'll put it in a very simple way. If you are a family member, part of, let's say, 5 people in a same family, okay, if something goes wrong, would you blame each other rather, or you solve it with the help of each other? Correct, no? We never blame each other in a family, right? We solve as a team, as a family, and then solution can be solved easily. But the moment you become a two family, you and your neighbors, then you start blaming about the issues. Correct? Rather than solving, you start ready to fight. Correct? So that's the same problem which you have in the software development also. Multiple team, multiple problem, multiple mindset, multiple process, multiple tool set, multiple practices, multiple management, multiple ambitions, multiple culture, problem for one objective. But if you become one team, that's called DevOps team. No problem. Everyone, you are accountable for it. You are supposed to do everything. No problem. Correct? You may say, hey, how can we do that? Development, testing, operations, everything, all of us have to do that. How can we proceed? How can we do that? It's not possible, yeah, right? This is not possible. How can we do that? That's why organization says or practitioners say, change your mindset. We have 30 people, around 25 people in this session. I would ask you a very simple thing. If you really want to become a DevOps engineer, change your mindset. If you say, I'm not ready for architect, I'm not ready for the development, I'm not ready for the operations, I'm not ready for the testing, then you are still in the 20 years back. So change your mindset. You say, yes, I can try. I will do that as a team. I may do with my team helps. So that's a mindset change. First, you have to change your mindset. Are you all of you are understanding? I hope, right? So DevOps is nothing great actually. Change your mindset, and changing your mindset for what? Do everything as a team, one team, not multiple teams, and everyone is accountable for the failures and success both for the software development. All of you are understanding, right? Hello.
Yes, Raj, we are understanding.
Yes, Rajesh.
Yes.
So now then you will say, some of you say, Rajesh, you are cheating me. You said DevOps course do not require any coding, and I hate coding. I hate coding. I don't like coding at all. And you are saying, asking me in the session to code for it, testing for it, operations for it, everything. I am not going to do that. Who will do that? I just want the big fat salary without doing anything else. So you, some of you must be blaming me. So I'll just give you answer for that. Let me ask you a simple thing. We are in the world of software engineering domain. As a software engineer, see, all I am asking is, think simple, okay? As a software engineers, all I'm asking is write 500 lines of code. Think simple, 500 lines of code, only 500 lines of code in any programming languages. Write it, test it, and deploy it. This 500 lines of code is called one function. That's called microservices. Only find. You don't have to bother entire software. You don't have to bother entire system. In a, let's say, SDFC bank, there may be thousands of services. You don't need to bother. Just only one service you have to bother. Microservices. 500 lines of code or maybe 5,000 lines of code. As a software engineer, can't we do this? If you can't do this, then how can we become a software engineer? Think simple. Forget about the DevOps engineering. So change your mindset. Change your mindset first. That's important. It's a culture. DevOps is all about the you might have read before enrolling for this session. DevOps is nothing but a cultural changes in a team and mindset changes in the engineers mindset and organizations also. That's a DevOps. That's the DevOps. Okay. So yes, many, let me also tell you here, many organizations say they are hiring the DevOps engineer, but actually they are hiring ops engineer actually, to be honest. But if you really want to enjoy the DevOps, become a real DevOps, you should not get scared from the coding. Okay, one of the important line I would say in some time, and you have to hard code the statement. Just wait for it. I just want this beans flow. So guys, what you have to do? What you have to do? You need to know all these things. You have to learn all these things. What is container? What is microservices? What is DevOps? What is CI/CD? What is SRE? And what is the DevSecOps? You are supposed to know. Okay? You are supposed to know.
Hello,
Yeah, tell me.
I'm sorry to disturb in between. Just one question I have. Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead.
This the years that you have said, like in 1990, then 2000, then 2000, 2020, these things are changed. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that you can predict, right? But how much is like after how much, like next 10 years, this DevOps will also be a history, like people are less people are using DevOps, or
Yes, of course. I don't know what will come in future, but of course change will be there, and you know that. You know that every time change will be there for sure. We cannot stop the only thing which is we cannot have any control over the change. What will come next month, next year, or after few years, we can only predict like something will come. What will come, we need to see, right?
right, right.
It will come.
Because what I understand with your explanation is like this container thing is very much different from the previous processes. So I assume that the DevOps will run for a long period of a time. What I understand from this, I am not
Yeah, of
sure.
course.
Like,
At least see, I'll tell you in a simple way. My understanding. I don't know the answer. Maybe something else, but it's very simple. We are in the world of info age. Okay, info age. Earlier, that information was accessible only to the few people. Now to everyone. Now, if one kid from the remotest area of Northeast India, if they want to become an atomic scientist only based on the learnings which on the Google, they can do that because every information is available to everyone. Nothing is hidden right now. Okay, so it's like that. So earlier the technology were changing in 400 years, 500 years. Technology means, let's say, tooling system like farming and all, you know that, right? Still we are using the legacy software, some of those agriculture tools, some of the place. But nowadays we are in the world of info age. It's so evolving so fast. The tools, practices, process, way to automate the thing, reduce the cost, to do the things faster. We are changing every year. Maybe in future, once we get into the AI and stuff like that, maybe it will evolve in a few months also. Maybe, I don't know. Correct?
Answer, yeah.
Okay. So here, if you really want to practice, then what you need to do? If you want to really practice DevOps, what you need to do? The only challenges that we have is we have a multiple teams. You have to combine into one team. You have a multiple tools. You have to combine into one common tool. We have a multiple culture and mindset. We need to bring into one. Multiple processes reduced to the only effective one. Multiple practices only reduced to the only effective and needed one. Multiple SDLC phases to minimize. So we need to minimize actually. So DevOps is all about minimizing multiple teams, tools, phases to integrations and everything. So this is the things which you have to do. So again, this keep popping up, right? Quality release, immediate release, cost reduction. How do we do that? So if you really want to do that in this today's era, then you have to change your approach. DevOps approach. DevOps approach. DevOps approach. So DevOps approach where you are going to bring the development on operations. Earlier I said, right, in Agile, what we had is one development team. Earlier in waterfall model, we used to call it dev team, architect team, and tester team. But now we call it a development team because of Agile. So now we need to fill this gap between the development and operations, combining together multiple tools, multiple practices, multiple mindsets, multiple areas. We need to combine together and bringing DevOps. I'm just running a few slides faster, and the reason is very simple because we have to discuss multiple things together in a limited period of time. So the discussions can go up to 2 days also. Okay, so this is a very important statement which we need to hard code. Okay, so okay, about the DevOps. You can call yourself as a DevOps. You can call yourself as I am a DevOps engineer only and only if your mindset is ready for these three statements. If you are saying, no, I'm not doing it, I will not do this work or that work, that means you are still in the old era. And the new generation organization, they don't need those mindsets and those cultures and stuff like that. So how do you develop that mindset? Here's a very simple statement. I am DevOps. I am coding for the function of the software. I said function. I'm not asking you to do everything. We can't be God. Everyone can't be God and do everything, right? You can't be Brahma who can write a classes and we become object of it and we'll function ourselves. You can't be like that, right? You can be a God for the software. You can be a God for the software. So yes, I am coding for the function. Function means one microservice, one function of the software. You may be coding. I'm coding for the testing of that function of that software. And I'm coding for the infra, CI, CD, integration, operations, SRE, for building and running the software. So if you are saying, yes, I can do that, I am coding for the product, coding for the products, functionality of the products, I'm coding for the testing the product, I'm coding for the CI/CD operations and infra, then you can become a DevOps. Yes, your mindset is ready to, you can call yourself as a DevOps. Your mindset is ready for it. You don't need any training for it. For probably you need a tools training, but not a mindset, cultural change, cultural training for that, right? So you have to have that mindset when you are in these sessions. Okay, so all of you, please remember this statement. You are supposed to do everything, but only for the functions of the software, not entire software. Okay, so many times we feel DevOps is just combining these two teams together, development team and engineering team and operations team, and they'll become a DevOps. But actually, it's not true. It's not true. See here, there's a many stereotypes we have in industry. Many people say, "Hey, implement this tool, and your team and you will become a DevOps." Wrong. Many people say, "Hey, let's automate everything, and we'll become a DevOps." Wrong. Some of you have access right for many other tools also, all tools, and then say we're DevOps. No. And many people say, hey, we have a DevOps team. I'm a dev team. Please hear me out clearly, okay? I'm a dev team. I'm from QA team. I'm from the management team. I'm from architect team, and I'm from ops team, but we do have a DevOps team also. The moment you say this kind of statement, that means you have no understanding about the DevOps. Because I said very simple way, DevOps is the only one team which consists of development, operations, and testing, everyone together. So DevOps is not about tools, automations, access right, and teams. DevOps is all about how effectively we communicate with each other, team members. Earlier, if you look at this, there were too many gaps actually. There were multiple teams were there. Now, no, we are a one team. So DevOps is all about how effectively we communicate for the objective, which I have been repeating multiple times, so I'll not say, for the same objective. How well we understand each other means those who are writing the code for the software, those who are writing the code for the testing the software, and those who are writing the code for the infrastructure operation for the software, running the software. How can you understand each other well? How can we integrate each other? And how we build the relationship? If you are able to achieve this, that means you are a DevOps. Tooling anyways will come into the pictures while working with different challenges. So that's a DevOps. So DevOps is not a new technology or a product. It's an approach or culture of software development that seeks stability and performance at the same time that it speeds software deliveries to the business. So it's approach, it's a cultural changes. It's your mindset change. You have to change. Each engineer has to change the mindset. Each organization has to change the mindset. It's a cultural evolution actually to align our skill set, our mindset, and our team's culture with the ever-changing business environment and domain. So, guys, are you understanding what is DevOps? All of you. All of you. Hello? I'm audible?
Yes, we understand. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Then many people say, okay, fine. How can we implement that? How can we transition? So this discussion I'll be making little with the speed. Okay. Why you are opting for the DevOps? Because of that, that expectations. 5-second downtime, your end user are not able to tolerate. Okay, finishing late, exceeding budget, quality issues we have in the software. So what to do? There are so many soft problems we have in the project. Okay, I'll just give you the summary of these projects. Okay, I'll put it in a simple way. Let's say your manager will ask you, hey, can you do the development, testing, and operations of this functionality or this bugs in, let's say, 1 hour or 2 hours? Then you'll say, you know what? See, I can do that. That's not a problem. We can do that. That's not a problem. But the problem is, I don't have a software. I don't have a hardware. I don't have a people. I don't have a process. When I say software means you may require some packages. Hardware means you know that you may require some infrastructure. People means you may require some information, knowledge from the different teams, different peers, and people process. Process means someone is not giving you access at all. You know that, right? You waited for that access is not given. This information is not available. I'm waiting for that person to share with me that information. Why this kind of issues coming? Though, see, you can do that. We can do anything. We are designed for that. We are designed. We as a human designed for solving the problems itself, right? So we can do that, but there's a problem. Other teams, we have too much of dependencies. So this is one of the problems. Over the period of time, when you look at the waterfall model and agile model, and the culture what we built around it, I'm saying not individual one, it's a team culture. Okay, so rather than we are adding incremental values to the organization, what we are doing, just keep on running the software, no incremental values. I'll put it in a simple way. If system is running, no one should touch. Simple. Don't touch that software. Why? Because running. So we have stopped adding incremental values. Okay, we have stopped adding incremental values to organizations. That means we stop trying actually because of fear. Like, okay, escalations will happen here and there. Slow IT. I need 10 systems, 20 systems for setting up the development environment, QA environment now. But when you get it, you know that. Infighting issues. Simple. Simple way if I put it up. Something got wrong in this project, but this is not our mistake. This is not my mistake. That's for infighting issue. That means whose mistake that is? I could not do this because of their mistake. Their mistake means some other team's mistake. We hardly blame any individual probably, but we of course we blame our teams each other. Why you blame a team? Because there are multiple teams for it. That's what we are trying to solve, right? We don't want multiple teams. The moment it'll become one team, you can't blame, you can't fight, right? So apart from that, some of the stuff we have a few wastage also. Some of the pain area we have a wastage also. What are the waste? Knowledge waste. Knowledge waste means what? See, these are the challenges of the organizations, okay, which we are trying to solve through the DevOps. Knowledge waste means, let's say there's a skill set. One person is available in your project. He's having the desired skill sets, which I needed to get my work done faster, better. And if I do the same work, it might take a little bit more time. But I can't avail his expertise. Why? Because he's not from our team. He's from the dev team. He's from the QA team. He's from the operations team. He's from the architect team. He's not from our team. So probably you may get that his support work done, but the amount of time you spend for the follow-up emails, meeting, requests, this, that, and all will be too much. That's called knowledge waste. Skill set is available, but you can't make it easily available for your work because of multiple teams. That's we call it knowledge waste, waiting waste. I'll put it in a simple way, not complicating the discussions too much. You must be working in one of the organizations, I believe, if you're not from the fresher background. Then just go to your Outlook and search. There is a keyword waiting. You will get to know what I'm talking about. See, here we want the software delivery to be happen, development, testing, and operations to be happen in 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, or one day. But we are waiting for something. Why we are waiting? I'm waiting for the permission. I'm waiting for the hardware. I'm waiting for the software. I'm waiting for the this. I'm waiting for that. You are waiting everywhere. We are waiting. The question is very simple. How can we solve that? Because if we keep waiting, then how can we release the software in 1 hour? Very simple. Overproduction waste. Simple way. If I remind you, I don't have this image right now. In some other slides I'm having. In this slides I don't have. Have you seen this image floating around on the WhatsApp or some other platform also, LinkedIn also? Like customer has demanded something else, architect has designed something else, developer has coded something else, testing team has tested something else, and delivery was happened something else. Have you seen that? Any one of you? Hello? Hello?
No, no, I've not seen anything like that.
Hmm. That's called overproduction waste. That means customer got something which he has never desired. The question is why it has happened. Simple. Multiple teams, multiple mindset, multiple culture, multiple processes, multiple tool sets, multiple priorities, multiple control systems, multiple teams. That's a problem actually for the overproduction waste, over processing waste. How can I put it up in a simple way? Let me say here in a simple way. One of the organizations I joined 10, 12 years before, and just to get access, I spend, I mean, all access. When I say all access, means all access, so I can be, productive with my work. Access, documents, KT. It took almost 2 to 3 months for that. And few years before one of the organization I joined, it took only 30 minutes. When I joined organization on the induction day itself, they gave me everything, all the required access to my Outlook. It was there. They gave me one laptop and they said everything you have in this laptop only. I open up my laptop, Outlook, everything was there. All access, all how to use that things, how to set up dev, QA process, operations, everything was there. So this is called process waste. You define the process and then you see that how effectively it's helping you or not to address the organization's objective. Motion waste. At what motion you send information from the one phase to another phase, one team to another team, one individual to another individual. When I say information means it can be code also, it can be documents also, it can be some inputs also, it can be some suggestions also, it can be feedback also. Motion is important. Am I giving it immediately? Or let's say, okay, I'll share after 5 hours. Your motion will decide your release cycles. Transportation waste, how you are transporting the artifacts from the one person, one individual, or one team to another individual or another team. Transportation means I'm transferring the dev environment to QA to production. I'm transferring some documents, I'm transferring some code, I'm transferring some decisions, I'm transferring some feedback. How you're transferring, that's important, right? That is also important. Correction waste, simply bug fixing. I'll put it in a very simple way. Let's say organization said, think simple, okay? Organization said, we have 100 rupees for developing this software. We'll sell it this software in the market at 120 rupees. Why 120 rupees? Because My competitor is selling the software at 130 rupees. So you will develop the software. You develop, of course, you develop the software in 100 rupees. But you know what? You had lots of issues in the software. Now you have to solve it. You have to solve it. So your development cost was 100. Your selling cost was 120. Now your bug fixing cost is 30 rupees, let's say. So what is your investment? 130 rupees. You are selling a software at 120 rupees. And your competitor is selling a software at 130. You can't increase the price also. So this is called technical debt. And many organizations see it's in loss, right? Your organization is in loss for the software. So what to do? They'll shut the shop, right? You know that. Correction waste. Inventory waste. Many times you might have felt, hey, we have a talent available in the team only. Why can't we use it, those talent? We have a hardware available within a team only. Why can't we use it? We have everything available within a team only, but we are not able to use it. Why? Because of process. We can't use it. Inventory waste. So the question is very simple. There were so many problems we have in the organizations. Why we have these problems? Because we did earlier waterfall model or agile model. Now everything got changed except us. Us means we as a team and individual software engineers. We never changed. So we have to change it. We have to change ourselves. We have to opt for DevOps. We have to recycle, reduce, and reuse along with the DevOps. So Ginny said, DevOps is something which is like a factory floor of the century. IT is a factory floor of the century. What in which way you should take it up? See here, the factory floor for the last century was manufacturing industry. Who won it? So initially US, then later dominated by Japan, now China. Think about it. Why they own it? Why they own? So why the China is the leader in the manufacturing? Because they had a multiple teams. What teams? Politicians, local governments, road railways, shipping departments, policy departments, legal departments. So what they did, they combine it at one platform and they say, hey, let's combine it, let them work together so you can reduce the manufacturing cost, you can ship it faster, better, ship faster, immediate release, better quality, and then the pricing also will be very effective. So now they are able to win because of what they did. They brought it all this multiple domains, multiple teams, multiple departments together to solve the problems. And that is what we have to do in IT also. We have multiple teams, multiple departments, multiple mindset, multiple culture. So that is delaying our, the objective. That is delaying our software development, the objective of the organization. So what we need to do, we need to implement the DevOps, bringing the better culture, automation, monitoring, and sharing concept. So let's go. So the question is, okay, fundamentally now we have understood what is DevOps. So DevOps ultimately, what if I look at it, DevOps is nothing but the cultural changes and mindset changes of whom? You and me and my organization also, management also. It's not like only I need to change, our organizations also need to change, by the way. So these are the functional, these are the mindset changes. Because the moment we will realize, okay, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to do the coding for everything, which you've been discussing, then we can implement the DevOps. That's not a problem, right? As a team, DevOps is a team, not multiple team, one team. So what we need to do? So if you really want to implement the DevOps in your organization, then we should be empowered actually. Yes, please tell me.
Okay, I'm sorry for also cutting you short. Sorry, I want to ask you something. I don't know if I can go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for the what do you call it, walk through what DevOps is. I need to confirm to you that you have really changed my mindset. Even a lot of things that I got confused in, I'm getting it clearer now. I want to confirm if we have a access to recording and the recorded what do you call it, file of this, because what you have just run through, I think we want need to like. You need to go through it again. You understand? Because this will be the fundamental that we need. Are we going to have access to the recording files?
Yes. So all the recordings, all the sessions recording, and much more than that, okay, will be in LMS, and
Okay.
your project coordinators, your training coordinators will add you at LMS, and there you get all this recording plus 500 plus of 500 hours of more videos. You get it over there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, so the question was, how can we onboard to DevOps? We understand that DevOps, okay, we have to change. That's all. We have to change. That's the only constant which we have to do. We have to change our mindset. We have to change a culture. We need to start working as a team, not multiple teams. Why? Objective we have multiple times we have repeated what are the objectives of the organizations. So how do we do that? I'm ready for the code for the function of the software. I'm ready for the code for the testing of the software. I'm ready for the coding for the infrastructure CI/CD and operations. Everything, I'm ready for that. So what should be done? So we should be empowered actually. Empower means I want 10 machines now. Why should I ask you and send an email for you? It's just wasting time, right? Writing, drafting an email 20 minutes, asking for permission, waiting time, motion time, transportation wastage, right? I will go and get it myself. I want to talk to architecture right away. I don't need someone's permission. I want to talk to QA team. I want to talk to operations. I want to have some information from the productions. I don't need anyone permission because so we should get it everything immediately. Why? Because I need it. I don't want motion waste, transportation waste, waiting waste. So how come this is possible? Let's say if you have a multiple team, definitely you will not be able to access immediately. But think about it. It is a very simple equation. If we convert every teams and put it into one teams, can't we get it? If there is only one team, that's called DevOps team, and who's consist of dev, QA, architect, and operations, everyone together. Then I don't need someone's permissions to talk to my team members. Yes, I may need permissions to talk to someone else out of my team, but I don't need anyone's permission to talk to my team and get any information. Simple. See, if you are in India, let's say, if you want to travel to USA, you need a permission, visa, right? But let's say if I want to travel to some other state of within India, do I need a permission? No. I can go right away if I want to travel to here to let's say Bengaluru to Delhi. Within a 2 hours, 3 hours, I'll be reaching Delhi, right? I don't need anyone's permission. But if you're traveling from Delhi to let's say New York, you need a visa. Probably you have to wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 5 weeks, and then again you will travel and again you will reach out. So waiting waste, motion waste, transportation waste. So if there is a one team, we can solve that. So we need to empower actually each and every individuals. We need to bring accountability. Yes, you can do that. I am accountable for it. If there is a problem in the software, I am accountable for it. Teamwork. We have to start working as a team instead of fighting with each other. So that kind of mindset we have to bring. We have to share our knowledge. Okay, whatever I know, people don't share. If you're across the team, we don't share until it's been asked specifically through the different meetings and emails. We don't share. But once we become one team, we'll start sharing. Hey, I need to know there's some variables which is set in the production. I need to know because bug fixing, I need to troubleshoot something in my development environment or QA environment. If you're a part of the same team, you can get information, anything. Whatever you know, you should start sharing with the team. Trust and reinforcing values with respect, ethics, honesty, and integrity. So, guys, these are the things which we need to do to change the employee mindset and culture. Okay, but not only employee has to change, guys. You have to change the organizations also. They need to have a clear vision. When I say clear vision, that means some of you might think, hey, Rajesh, this all keywords which you've been sharing with me may look very attractive, but it's not close to reality. Yes, yes, many times. If your organizations do not want to implement the DevOps, they do not have a clear vision, then you can't do much there. So it's all about the organizations also. They need to have a clear vision, what they want. They want waterfall or they want agile or they want DevOps. So if they want, they sometimes if they are in a confused state, then many problems you may have. Something like you have a dev team also, QA team also, operation team also, and DevOps team also. So I hope you are getting. So when you have a multiple teams, that means the organization is not having clear vision, not clear goal, and they are still at the confusion state. Okay, so they need to have a clear vision. They should recognize the bottlenecks. That means what are the problems they are experiencing it, and so DevOps can help them. And this is the best thing which you can do. If you really want to implement the DevOps in your organization, only this can be done by the organization. That's called reorg. Immediately we have 5 teams, right? So tomorrow, let's say today we have a 5 teams, and tomorrow let's merge together and become one team. That's called DevOps team. No more conflict, no more motion wastage, no more transportation wasted, no more over production. Every problems which I counted earlier, that some pains and some wastage immediately will get disappear the moment we merge all these teams together into one. So as Ryan said, DevOps is a reorg. That's all. Not a new team to hire. And everyone works together. Let's say I am a dev. I will do some part of the testing also. I'm not saying 100%, but I will do some part of the testing. I am a dev. I am part of the DevOps team, and I will do the development also, testing also, and help operations also. I am a testing team. I'm a part of the DevOps team. I'll do the testing also, some part of the development also, some part of operations also. I'm operations team. I'm a part of the DevOps team. I will do the development also, operations also, and testing also. Maybe shared responsibility you have it. Some of you may be doing the more. Some of you may be doing little less also. Okay. So these are the things which have to be done by the organization. And proper hands off. Hands off means whatever we have done, someone else not be doing the repeat work and stuff like that. And on top of that, do the right assessment and eliminate all the wastage which I talked about it, like overproduction wastage, useless processes, useless motion, defective work and scrap, overstocking, waiting, and transportation wastage. So if you really want to implement the DevOps, then these are the things which we need to do. All of you are understanding? Any questions so far? Any questions so far, guys? Hello? Hello?
No questions.
Yes.
Am I audible, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, guys, we have understood what is DevOps. Okay. So, I'll just create a summary of it. If you really want to become a DevOps engineer, okay, or if you want to implement DevOps in your project, see, something which can be done by organization only. So this I will not discuss right now because my objective, my focus is on you right now. all of you wants to become a DevOps engineer, DevOps lead, DevOps manager. So remember that in reality, it's one team who should be doing everything from the planning till the productions, operations, everything. One team may have multiple individuals performing different tasks and responsibilities. Okay, so you may be doing something more development, coding, or testing, or operations, anything depends on that. But there is one thing which is called reality. Okay, there is a called reality. Reality means what usually every organization is practicing in reality. So if you join, maybe you'll be asked to do the operations only or pre-operations, pre-production. Okay, either operations means productions or pre-productions. And then you may be called DevOps also. Why? Because as I said, no, organization is not having clear vision what they want. So they are trying to simplify, they are trying to slowly migrate to the new model, but they are not ready yet. Because they are not ready yet, you can't expect all these things to be in place there. Okay, so no need to worry about it. You have to build your skill set as per the market standards. Any projects you may join as any with any responsibility, you should be able to do that. So you should be able to run an application in few seconds. You should be able to write infrastructure code. You should be able to write operations code. You should be able to write CI/CD code. You should be able to understand the testing process, and you should be able to also write some functionality of the software. Hardly 500 codes if it is microservices. If not, at least you should understand that how they are writing the code, how they are compiling, how they are packaging, and so on. Okay, so you as an individual, if you want to become a DevOps engineer, change your mindset, start loving code. Let me tell you here, no matter where you go in a development team, you go in testing team, you go in operations team. Everywhere, little bit of coding is there. I said little bit. Even development team, they are not doing the coding lot of it. Okay, it's all about the APIs they're calling and little bit of integrations for the third-party libraries and all, and they're making the software up and running. So here, maybe if you're an operations team, you have to do the coding in Terraform, Ansible. You have to do the coding in shell scripting, maybe Python. Maybe you have to CI/CD coding like YAML, JSON, pipeline coding, and all stuff like that, right? Or Docker file you have to write, or Docker compose file, or Kubernetes coding also you have to do in YAML. Those are not very difficult. If you go in the testing team as a DevOps engineer, then probably you have to write a code in Selenium or JMeter or something like that, QTP and all. If you're in development team, probably you will need to write a code in Java or some other stuff. So guys, this is the mindset change I am expecting from all of you. So now I'll have a little bit of voting. How many of you are ready for the mindset change? Can you please comment in the chat box? I would like to understand if you have understood my message clearly before getting into the other one. Just type in the chat if you have understood the purpose of this discussion and what you are supposed to do from now onwards. Great. Great, guys. Yeah. So now let's understand a little bit of CI/CD. Okay. Through these discussions, okay, I will make you aware of all this terminology, at least what they use in the project and in the right context. So guys, CI/CD. Okay. What is CI/CD? So let's put it in this way. CI means continuous integration. See, I have one habit. Probably you want to practice this habit also. Whenever I hear any word in English or my language also, which is Hindi, okay, so I try to break the word. English also, or in Hindi also, or any, for the sake of any languages. Okay, just break the word. Okay, and the moment you break the word, you'll understand the meaning of it. Actually, you'll understand the definition. For example, here we have a CI, it's the English word. CI stands for continuous integration. There is one keyword which is called continuous, and there is one keyword which we have integration. So in the software development, how can we correlate this keyword? So what we are saying here, see here, integration between what? So if you look at the characteristics of software development, in the software development, we have a multiple phases, multiple teams, multiple tools, multiple processes, multiple practices. So we need to integrate together. So that is integration of the team, tools, process, phases, but continuously. Okay, so that's called CI. Simple. Nothing great about it. Nothing great about it. Okay, so I'll just put it up in a simple way. See here, you have multiple teams together, and this here integration means what? See, these teams were there from last 20, 30 years. Nothing has changed. But the arrow which you see, arrow, the one which is depicting the integration, that's we are trying to build actually. Nothing, we are doing nothing great. We are just trying to merge each and every teams together, and that's called CI. See here, look at the arrow, only arrow, the arrow between the phases. Here I showed you the team, here you have the phases. This arrow depicts the integrations. Look at this. This is the teams, multiple job designation, design, development, testing, development, deployment, maintenance, multiple teams. And look at this arrow. Arrow is depicting like you are integrating. Tools. Look at this. Multiple tools we have. You know, this is the course which has been designed with the at max tools which we can accommodate in the DevOps also, SRE also, and DevSecOps. So we have so many tools, collaboration tools, planning tool, issue tracking tools, monitoring tools, configuration management tools, source management tools, dev environment, CI tools, delivery tools, repo management tools, packaging tools, build automation tools. All these, one of the tools will pick it up from the different problems area. One from collaboration planning, one from issue monitoring, CM, source, development, and so on. So we'll pick it up one tool from each one of these and we'll learn, and thus we'll practice DevOps. So the question was, what is CI then? The question is very simple. How to integrate all SDLC phases automatically? This here. Integrate is a keyword, and automatically is the keyword which you need to understand. Automatically. Everything should be automated. So how to integrate all the SDLC's phases automatically? How to integrate all the teams and work automatically? How to integrate all the tools automatically? How to integrate all the SDLC cycle, teams and tools automatically? Okay. Why we are doing it, more or less we understand. So how will you do that? Solution. We need to find out the solution. Why we need to do? I'm just skipping it because more or less by now I am assuming we understand that. This is one of the good slides which we have. Please hear me out while looking at these slides also. See, coding is not been automated, okay? So that's okay. But here, automated build, automated integration, automated testing, automated release, automated deployment. So here, what we did the coding and automated build and automated integration. We call it agile development, which you practice already. The moment you do automated build, automated integration, automated testing also, that means we call it CI. Remember, that means if you are automated the testing with the integration plus build, that's called CI. That means CI allow you to fail also. Sometime testing will fail, sometime integration will fail. That's okay, but it should be automated. If it is automated, then we can rectify lots of problems. What problems? Motion wasted, remember? Transportation wastage, waiting wastage. If it is already almost integrated, continuously automated, then you can solve lots of problems for the DevOps. So that's called CI. Then if you look at this, automated build plus automated integration plus automated testing plus automated release. That means test has been passed, then you release to the release. That we call it a continuous delivery. And the process in which automated build, automated integration, automated testing, automated release, automated deployment, we call it continuous deployment. And things which operates everything from the coding to automated build, automated integration, automated testing, automated release, automated deployment is called DevOps. So if you really want to implement the DevOps, the step number 1, agile development, follow the agile development. Step number 2, build the CI. Step number 3, build the CD, delivery. Step number 4, continuous delivery, deployment. And the moment you do that, along with that, you have to do the cultural changes also of the employees and employer, both, which we have discussed already. And if you could do that, then we'll be able to implement the DevOps, no problem. Okay, so to some of you, if you really want to understand the CI and CD, then I'll put it in this way. Let's say my manager today morning came to me and said, "Hey Rajesh, can you deploy today's morning build to the production?" He asked me if I say yes. The moment I say yes, that means all of my testing has been passed. That means build has passed, integration has passed, testing has passed. That's the reason I'm saying yes. The moment I say yes, that means our project is at the continuous delivery state. That means our CI is so stable, we are able to deliver the product any given point of the time. That means if you say production release at 10 o'clock, yes. 11 o'clock, yes. 12 o'clock, yes. We can release any time. And that's the focus, right? Immediate release is the focus for the organization. That's the thing. But if I say no, let's say my manager came to me and saying that, "Hey Rajesh, 10 o'clock we had a build and can you deploy now?" And if I say no, that means we are still at a CI stage. CI stage means our product is automated build, automated integration, automated testing, but it's not passing. It may fail, it may pass. So we are still at the CI stage. Okay. And then deployment means no one is asking me. My manager is not asking me, can you deploy or not? Automatically build happen, integration happen, automated test happen, automated release happen, deployment gone into the production automatically, and that's called deployment, continuous deployment. Okay, so now there's a minor difference here. See here. In this image also, see here, different phases irrespective of the tools. So many people say, hey, we use this tool, that tool, this DevOps tool. No, you can use any tool. But here in this image, what is the most important thing, green arrow. That's called integration, continuous integration. So earlier also we were doing all this stuff, but we were not integrated. We have to integrate now, automate everything. So everything should be flawless, no human dependence. See here, the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. See here, I just said very simple. Continuous delivery, you will have the product released ready for the production, but you will not deploy to the production. You will wait for someone, just like my manager asked me, can you deploy? But in a continuous deployment, no one will ask, no one. If development has been done, automated testing has been done, automated integration testing has been done, automated acceptance testing has been done, then production has been done automatically. Look at the arrow. Arrow is important in all this flow. So I hope you understand continuous integration. When people say Continuous integration means automated build, automated testing, immediate feedback, no matter whether it's pass or fail. That's called continuous integration. That means I checked in the code at 10 o'clock, 10:15, I have a updates whether it's place, pass or fail. If you can get the update of the testing, automated testing, that means you are CI. If you are not getting update, automated like build update is not getting, testing, automated testing is not integrated, that means you are not a CI. It's like that. If your CI is always passing, that means you CD, continuous delivery. Okay. If someone is asking for the deploy, that means you have at this continuous delivery stage. And if you're deploying to the production, that's the extreme state of automation. I must tell you here, that's extreme state of automation. If you're deploying to the production directly without having any check or manual approval, that's called continuous deployment. Okay. So this is the stuff. So multiple images you might see floating around. So here, if you see that commit, build, packaging, all this thing will understand. See here, planning, coding, build, testing, release, deploy, upgrades. So look at the continuous integration and continuous delivery part. So multiple images you'll see around this whole image. Only the one message will depict integrations between the different phases, different teams, different processes, and things like that. So guys, all of you are understanding now what is the CI/CD? All of you?
Yes.
Okay. So now guys, let's try to understand SRE also. Now SREs, if you understood the DevOps, then understanding of the SRE will be also easy for you. Nowadays we are using a lot of buzz around SRE. What is SRE? So SRE, which stand for Site Reliability Engineering. Okay, please focus on this, guys, because I believe, you know what, probably you know what, I must share this experience with you. I believe most of you, because I've been doing the consulting for the various organizations. Many organizations, they say, hey, we need a DevOps engineer. But I just said with you, what is DevOps engineering? Okay. Many organizations say we need a DevOps engineer, but actually they have a roles and responsibility for SRE. Yes, SRE. If you are not supposed to do everything and as a one team, that means they are expecting not something like operations or SRE, and they are branding you as a DevOps engineer. That's my experience with the multiple projects, because I said, right, even organization need to have a clear vision to implement the DevOps, right? So now the question is, what is SRE? So SRE stands for Site Reliability Engineering. There is a three keywords. Again, I would request you to apply the same formula, which I do that. Break it down into the smaller sections and then try to understand. Site means what? Site means my application. Simple. My application which is running in the production. That means site. That's website. Reliability means we understand that. I don't have to tell you. And engineering means what? Engineering means development. Planning. Engineering means what? Planning, development, testing. That's called engineering, right? Engineering team means what? What they do? They plan for the software, they design for this, they implement, the code for it, and they test for it, right? That's what they do, that, right? So what they are saying here is very simple way I'm putting up. SRE is one of the profile in which if you are a SRE engineer, you will be asked to make your website reliable. Please understand that. Website reliable with the engineering mindset. Yes, again I repeat, you will be asked to manage the site, which should be reliable. Site means your application. Flipkart.com is application. It's a site. It should be reliable. But the process which you follow is engineering process. Engineering process means anything you do in the operations, to manage that site, you have to plan, you have to code, you have to test and then apply. So bringing the engineering approach to the operations basically is called SRE. Earlier operations were not doing engineering approach. They were not doing engineering approach. So now we are asked to do that. Okay. So objective of SRE is to bring, hello?
Yeah, I said yes.
Yes. So what we want to do in operations, production, we want to have a probability, durability, reliability, availability, quality over time, and dependability. All these are big words. I'll not confuse you too much. So approach to operation means production. Okay, remember that. An approach to operations which uses software as a primary tool for managing a software system. That's called SRE. So in SRE, again, you have to do, remember, planning, development, designing, testing, deployment, and maintenance. That means bringing the engineering approach. Same thing you have to do, and then you'll do the SRE. So he's the great engineer, okay, for the Google SRE. SRE, the concept, if you look at it, it has come from the Google itself. Okay. So this has come from the Google. So Benjamin has said, SRE is what happens when you ask a software engineer to design an operating system, operations team. Sorry, ops team. Software engineer to design an operations team. Think about it. You can't run away from the coding. Operations team to become a software engineer. Software engineer means planning, development, deployment, designing, testing, maintenance, all this thing approach you have to bring in operations also, production also. So what are the responsibility of SRE team? Availability, performance, incident management, and monitoring. Activities on our SRE. Write a code. See here. Don't get scared. It's very simple though. Write a code. Be on call. Perform post-mortem. Automate everything in operations. Implement best practices and lead a war room. Functions of SRE. Eliminating a toil. That's important. Eliminating a toil means what? Toil means what? Toil means some work which can be automated. Simple. See, there's a difference between human and robots, machine. If some work can be done by machine, then you should not do that work. Simple. It's very simple. I'll put in this way. If some work can be done by the scripting or tools or some sort of coding, then you are not supposed to do that, because you are supposed to do something better than that. Your design has happened to do innovations, do something which is unique, else there's no use of it. You should not do something which is repetitive work. In SRE, we call it toil. The work which can be automated, but you are not automating, that's called toil. Managing risk. Risk means, you might have heard about these three keywords: SLI, SLO, SLA. Service level indicator, service level objective, service level agreement. So site means your website. Let's say Amazon. Amazon said there, or Flipkart. Flipkart said, I will make an agreement with the client. My website has to be open in 2 seconds. Agreement with the end client. That means that's called SLA. SLA means it's agreement. So You have agreement for your organization, your company has agreement with the end client, your site will open in 2 seconds. But you as an ops team or SRE team will try to load in 1.8 second or 1.5 second only below than agreement. Because if agreement violate, there's a lots of repercussion will happen. So your SLO objective for SRE team will become 1.8 or 1.5 seconds. So that's the SLO. SLI means indicator means that's a real picture. Actually, what you are getting. Whether your site is loading actually in 1 minute, 1 second, or 2 second, or 3 second, that's an indicator. Okay. So these are the things. So the function of SRE team to managing the risk agreed service level with explicit tolerance and handling failures. That means incident management and post-mortem. So these are the functions. So guys, this slide is very important. How we are migrating from traditional operations and SRE. So are you all looking at my screen, right? I'm just confirming. Are you all looking at my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, this slide is very important because in simple way, you need to understand SRE. So see how this SRE transformation has come into the place. Look at it. Earlier, what we had, earlier we had development team with agile. Okay. I'm not talking the DevOps here. Okay. When we implemented the agile, we had a development team. And then we had an operations team. Between the development team and operations team, there were lots of fight going on. Development team say, hey, please let's implement this feature. Operations team say, no, 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 please wait for it. Wait for it. Why? Because operations team wanted to have the system running up and running without compromising the SLA agreement, the one which I said. But development team is not bothering about what is SLA, SLI. I don't bother about it. Business is asking to develop a feature. I will develop a feature. I will not bother about it. So there were a gap actually. There were a gap between the operations and development team. The gap was ops team was focusing on the reliability, whereas the development team was focusing on the building, the fixing the new things and building a new feature altogether and stuff like that. So that was a challenge. That was a challenge. So how do we fill this gap? Okay. So if you look at the responsibility of development team, they were involved in the designing, development, testing, and acceptance. If you look at the operations team, they were involved in the support, maintenance, and capacity planning and monitoring and blah 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 things, and where they were integrating together during the delivery. So they had a different goal, different skill set also, different tool set also, and there were no common ground between these two teams. Remember that the multiple teams is of creating multiple problems. We have discussed. So what to do? What to do? So these are some of the characteristics. I'll just skip. Yeah, what to do? So Google suggested SRE. So Google suggested, said, see, please hear me out. Google said, hey, implementing the DevOps is a wonderful thing. Yes, DevOps is really a wonderful thing. In the DevOps culture, we have only one team. But you know what? The implementation of the DevOps is very challenging. One of the challenge which I see, if I ask you, hey, can you write a code? Then what would be the answer? Let's say most of you say, maybe today you say, yes, I'll do that. But in reality, say, no, 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 I don't want to do the coding. Most of you. That's the problem actually. That's a real problem which they experience in the project also. It is a good thing. DevOps is a good thing, but the time when it has come for the implementation, many projects got failed implementing the DevOps. Then Google realized and said, hey, listen, do one thing. Let's directly not jump to the DevOps. Let's do SRE first. Then people started asking, what is SRE then? Then Google said, see, In our team itself, we have practiced not to implement the DevOps, but we implement the SRE. And SRE has got us lots of benefit for that. Then people started asking again, what is SRE you are talking about? What is SRE? Please explain it to us. Then Google said, hey, listen, what we did earlier, we had a development team and operations team. What we did, we asked operations team to work with development team. Look at this here. Which area they will work? Design, development, and acceptance testing. They will work. SRE team will work with the development team. So people ask, hey, do you mean that SRE team, the one which you're talking about, which has evolved from the operations team, are they going to do the design development and acceptance testing? Then Google said, no, no, no. I'm not saying SRE team will do the design, development, or acceptance testing. What I am saying is, whenever the development team will design, develop, and acceptance test, will do the things, they will involve SRE team. Involvement, integration, relationship, understanding. Remember that these words I used. So the SRE team will not actually do the things, but they'll be knowing the things what development team is doing at the design stage itself. So what will be the advantage? So SRE team will be well prepared for the challenge what development team is going to give after 1 month. Involvement, only involvement. So whenever development team will do anything, design or develop or accept a test, they will share with SRE team. They will have a meeting, they will have discussions, they'll share all the challenge. So what will be advantage for that? SRE team will be ready for that challenges. So SRE team will not say, no, 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 I don't want these changes because my priorities is reliability. No thanks. Operations team used to tell all the time. Why? Because they were not having understanding. They were not ready for that change. Are you getting my points here, all of you?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we heard that.
Yes. Yeah. So now that Google said, hey, hey, listen, not only SRE team need to work with the development team, but also development team need to work with SRE team. So then people started asking, are you saying that development team will do the things of SRE team? Google said, no, no, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, please, whenever you do some changes in the infrastructure, operation, productions, involve development team also. So that way, the right knowledge will be shared. So shared goal, overlapping skill set can be matched, consistent tool, and common basics. That is the SRE team. So this is all about the bringing the engineering practice in SRE team and involving SRE with the development team with SRE team. Simple. So these are some of the characteristics of it. So now you'll say, Rajesh, how can we compare DevOps versus SRE? So now I think you should be in a position to compare DevOps versus SRE. Look at this slide. Remember that I said very clearly, there is only one team, and that's called DevOps team, and that team only supposed to do the planning, design, development, testing, and operations. That's called DevOps team. So DevOps team will do everything. Everything. Look at this. They are doing designing also, development team also, testing also, acceptance also, delivery also, support also, maintenance and capacity planning. Everything will be done by one team. And this is what I've been teaching you. You should be able to do everything as a team, in a team. I repeat one more time that statement. I am ready for the code for the functionality of the software. I am ready for the coding for the testing of the software, testing for the software. And I'm ready for the coding. I'm ready for writing the code for the CI/CD operation infrastructure and so on. And so you can call me a DevOps engineer. If you're not ready, I'm not saying you doing it. I'm saying ready. Doing the things is maybe different because in a team some of you may do some more, some less, but you should be a part of one team. You should be ready for it. So if you're ready for it, then your mindset is as per the DevOps. If you have one team for everything, then you can call as a DevOps. But yeah, I just said right that in reality what is DevOps and what organization practice what is DevOps is completely different. That's the reason most of the organizations they're failing actually to implement the DevOps. So what they said, what they're doing, so they're going for the SRE approach, Google approach, because Google has implemented successfully and they garnered lots of benefit out of it. So they say, no, we will not go for the DevOps, rather, we will go for SRE. Why? Because SRE is a little bit more realistic scenarios what we have. So here DevOps team, and here we have a SRE team. Okay, so SRE team, see here, look at this. Development team and operations team together we call it DevOps team. But this is SRE team. So do let me know if you understood or what is SRE now. So development team is the same team, development team, but operations team which you migrated to SRE team. So it's very thin difference between the ops team and SRE team. What is the thin difference? Very thin difference. The moment, understand that, the moment you ask ops team to bring engineering approach to solving all the ops problem, the moment he will start doing that, then he'll become SRE team. Engineering approach means any problems which you have, plan, design, code, test, and implement. Don't do patching and quick fixes and stuff like that. So guys, are you understanding what is SRE, all of you?
Yes.
So this is SRE team. DevOps team will do everything, will all platform runtime and everything they need to be aware of it. But SRE team need not to be too much bothered in the programming and all, but operation side of it. But they will work together, overlapping skill set. So now you'll ask some of you, I think we have 4 people have enrolled for SRE team in this batch, I guess. So then you'll ask Rajesh, what I'm going to do as part of SRE. Okay, I understood that. I will change my mindset also because DevOps also is required a mindset and cultural changes, right? SRE also you have to change the mindset. Maybe you are doing ops work and you want to become a SRE. So for that, what you have to do? You have to change mindset. What mindset? First mindset you have to change is eliminating toil. Okay, I'm not getting into the too much of detail, but here only I'll tell you. Eliminating the toil means, I just said very simple way, anything which can be done by the script, automations, tools, you are supposed to let them work only. You do not spend time over there. That's SRE. That means anything which can be automated, plan for it, design for it, code for it, test for it, and implement it in the production. So you should be focusing more on to automated the task which can be automated, which can be done by the scripting and tools. You should not start doing, hey, can I restart the machine? Can I just manually copy the file? Or can I do this? Can I do that? Any work which you see which can be automated, you should be automating. That's called toil. Toil means repetitive work. Repetitive work is equal to toil in SRE. You should automate it, eliminate it. And then your major work is to working with the service level. Service level means I have told you in a simple way. SLI means the real picture of your site, website. Response time, CPU, RAM, synthetic monitoring, this, that, and a lot of things which we have. And objective means what you want. Let's say real, it's loading 3 seconds. Objective you have for 2.5 seconds. Oh, sorry, 2 seconds. And agreement you did for the 2 seconds. So it's a problem. Your problem. You should not cross the SLA. Agreement you should not cross. You should keep the objective service level under your control. That's your objective. How you do that? That's your work. See, for eliminating 12, you have to learn multiple tools. I must tell you some of the tools which you can use for the automating. For example, Ansible, Terraform, Rundeck, Docker, Kubernetes. These other tools will help you. API programming, and all, JSON, YAML, and all. Let's say if you want to reduce the service level, if you want to maintain the service level, then for that you have to set up the entire observability stakes. Observability stream, log monitoring, infra monitoring, cloud monitoring, alerting, dashboarding, and all stuff like that. Managing of failures means you have to work with the load balancers. You have to work with the security. You have to work with scaling groups, Docker, Kubernetes, and all stuff like that. Multiple process, post-mortem skill set, and all stuff like that. So these are the things you have to do as part of SRE. Okay, so 12, I'll just discuss actually overhead and all this stuff. I'm just ignoring it. And these are the practices. So I'll just ignore it, this discussion. Or this discussion in detail you will find in the LMS also. If you really want to deep dive into SRE a little bit more. Okay, so now next thing which I want to tell you, that is DevSecOps. Okay, so what is DevSecOps? So DevOps you understand, SRE you understand. Now we have to understand the DevSecOps. See, DevOps implementation is again challenging so far. Okay, DevOps, but we have got the DevSecOps also. Many organizations they are talking about the DevSecOps, which I'm going to tell you right away. So are you able to see my screen, right? All of you?
Yes, right.
So the question is, what is a DevSecOps? So this is the DevOps, the one image which I'm showing you, DevOps. So merging devs and operations teams together into one team with the cultural changes and mindset changes. So if you're a part of, let's say, organization, they might have done a lot of training for that, changing a mindset. Okay, changing a mindset, they might have done multiple training. So we got the DevOps done. Okay, many organizations, those who implemented the DevOps successfully, they are saying, hey, let's do a little bit further. Let's go a little bit further. So here SRE is not needed because it's a DevOps. DevOps means one team, one objective, one goal, right? Everyone is ready for doing everything. They are ready to work together. So it's a like wonderful, scene, situation for any project. So one of the dreams comes true for the organization. If you really have a DevOps practices in place, then it's one of the dreams comes true because with this the team, DevOps team can roll out the new feature every day actually, every day, every night. They can do the bug fixing within a few hours actually, or few seconds also if possible. So it's like this. It's a dream comes true. Implementing the DevOps is the one challenge for the most of the organization. But nowadays, from last few years, I'm seeing many people say, hey, let's do one thing. We are not doing the security things as part of the DevOps. Okay, security things. Then we are adding more responsibility to this each individual. What responsibility? So think about it. Earlier, you know what? Once the testing has been completed, then security testing has to be done. Remember that. How many times, let's say you do the release every month or every 2 weeks, then one day will be assigned for this doing the security testing. And think simple here. The problem, I'm not covering too many slides right now. I'm trying to help you in a simple way so you'll understand that. So if after the development, after the testing, we will do the security testing. And the moment if you found some security loopholes, then again that product is will go through the same cycle. So again planning, again design, again testing, again all these things. So this was a lots of time wastage actually used to happen. If you find a major drawbacks in the during the security testing, then there's a again you have to follow the same cycle, repeat the same cycle, and that will that used to bring lots of escalation in terms of project delivery, timeline, project cost, the development cost, also many things. So what nowadays practitioner is suggesting, understand that one thing is very clear, because we all are using the websites, applications, and we all are using the only one applications. And now if you look at this, we are doing the transaction, credit card, and so much of transaction, like your password is important, your Facebook security is important, your Instagram security is important, right? Your bank security is important, your Google Pay security is important, your Paytm security is important, right? All these things is important for you. So security is one of the major concept in today's era of the software development. Very important pillar actually. Security is very important pillar. But if you are expecting the security at the end of the testing, that's not a good right approach. So what many organizations, many practitioners, they said, let's do one thing. Let's attach the security to every individual. Please hear me out clearly. Let's attach the security to every individual and teams to perform. One team, the DevOps team. So then people started saying that, then you see, DevOps, we understand that. And you are saying we are adding the security work also to the each individuals now and the team. So what do you call it? And then people say, and then practitioners say, let's call it DevSecOps, means DevOps plus security. Then we have to understand DevSecOps in a right context. So let me show you this very simple, guys. Look at this here. So in a DevOps, what we do the planning, we do the coding, we do the build, we do the testing, we do the release, we do the deployment, operate, and monitoring. We understood that. How to perform the DevOps, we also understood that. But now practitioners are saying, hey, let's do one. During the planning, whenever you plan for the software development, it may be 1 week, 1 day, or 1 hour, whatever you do, create a threat modeling also. Threat modeling. And define the coding standard also. That means you do plan, no problem, but you do some additional work also. During the coding, when you do the coding, you do additional work of the security static code analysis also. During the build, you do the vulnerability scan also. During the testing, you do the penetration testing also. Same thing. During the release, you do the compliance validations also. During the deployment, code signing and validations also. And during the operates, monitor, detect, respond. And during the monitoring, recover. So all these things, you are doing planning, code, build, test, release, deploy, operates, and monitor. But let each individual of the DevOps team or team let do additional work also. That means in a simple way, if I tell you, implementing the security also with the engineering approach. Engineering approach is important. That means you need to write a code for security in the software also. Please, I'm revising the statement. Please hear me out clearly. I am ready for the code for the functionality of the software. I am ready for the coding for the testing for the software. I am ready for the coding for the CI/CD operation and infrastructure. And now one more thing you have to take an oath on it. I'm ready for the coding for the security as well. So DevSecOps is all about writing a code, writing a standard, writing a processes at the each stage of the DevOps. And so here you will write a secure code. Here you will write a scanners, vulnerability scanners, penetration testing, and all stuff like that. That means you will enable all the security practices in the in a with the engineering approach. So this is called DevOps. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
So now, as part of the DevSecOps, what you are going to learn? So if you, I think we have a 2 to 3 participants from the DevSecOps background also in this session. So those who are from the background, first I'll teach you DevOps. Okay, first I'll teach you all the DevOps tool which you should know, and after that, or during the parallel also, I'll teach you how to do the threat modeling, how to set the coding standard, how to do the static code analysis for security, how to do the vulnerability scanning, how to do the penetration testing, compliance validation, code signing validation, monitoring, detect, respond, and recover. So all these things will be covered on top of the DevOps, so you can also practice DevSecOps. All of you are understanding this? Yeah. So guys, here, let me not scare you too much. Okay, understand this way. First thing you remember, this statement, please hear me out clearly. Everything in today's world is easy to learn, easy to share, easy to extend, easy to debug, easy to test. So if you're getting a question like how should I learn all these many tools? So first set your mindset first thing. All these are simple tools, easy to learn, nothing great about it. Because understand the tool itself is says over the period of time, I'm cost effective, I'm easy to learn, I'm easy to implement. That's the reason we call it a tool, right? If it is over the period of time, if tool is become a complex, then we will not use this tool. We humans are very clever. We will use something which you can easy to use. We use the tool because of automating our work, not to increasing our headache. So all the tools which I am going to teach you as part of DevOps or SRE or DevSecOps, and ultimately, if some of you also have subscribed for MD, Mastered in DevOps Engineering. Mastered in DevOps Engineering is one of the certification course introduced by DevOps School. In this, what we teach all the DevOps tool, which is generic DevOps tool, plus SRE, all the SRE tools also, and then all the DevSecOps tools also together. That's called MD, Mastered in DevOps Engineering. That means you don't have to learn anything else apart from that, right? So this is the things which you have to set in your mindset. All these tools, technologies, what we have added, it's easy to learn, and have a right mindset in place. With a few hours of practice, you should be able to, do all this stuff and learn all this stuff. Okay, so now we'll have a 10 minutes of Q&A session on DevOps, DevSecOps, and SRE. And after that, once this topic is completed, after that we'll get to the general questions and answers. Okay, so let's have this 10 minutes of question only to dedicate to our topics, and then we'll migrate to the different mode. So anyone have any question? Because I have not entertaining question because I wanted to complete my session. But anyone have questions about on DevOps or DevSecOps or SRE or MD?
Yes, I have question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you've really allayed my fear about the thing. I am a bit confused before now, and unfortunately, or let's say coincidentally, I was also mentoring some guys that are planning to enter into DevOps. So why myself as a mentor, I'm confused. They also come with some other confused questions, and these are what you have just done for me today. Difference between DevOps, SRE, then why do we have DevOps and some other things? So thank you very much. I so much appreciate all your what you have just done today. But I also observed something, especially on some of these job and what they call job sites like LinkedIn. So I discovered that when any organization said maybe they are looking for DevOps engineer, they have different job description. At times, you will just look at this as if they don't know what they are saying. That what they are asking for might be different from what you understand by DevOps. Some will just list a lot of coding, what do you call it, skills and some other things like that. So I don't know if there is anything you can assist in that regard, just to, because I think one of the challenges is that some people, some organizations have just picked up the title DevOps engineer without really understand what it entails. So it's now becoming something like an hype now that everybody is just looking at. So for an applicant, do you still maybe advise that they should keep on applying, even if they don't have all the listed, what do you call it, and skills? That's my first question.
Yeah, you are rightly saying actually, as I said, right? One thing is knowing the DevOps. That's my responsibility to share with you. Second thing is implementing the DevOps, and whether your organization, some organization is understanding the DevOps in the right context or not. That's also is a different thing. So sometimes what happens, organizations are not ready to migrate from their traditional software development and the team setup to the new model of DevOps immediately. They say, hey, let's do one thing, because we cannot migrate immediately. We cannot change everything immediately. Let's do one thing. At least start migrating that some part of work, for example, some automation work in ops, or maybe build and release engineering, or maybe operations, or maybe monitoring. So they start saying that, okay, let's start to migrate towards automation, okay, and let's start hiring those people who should be well aware of the mindset of DevOps. So slowly, maybe in 1 or 2 years or 3 years, over the period of time, slowly will migrate and fully do the DevOps. So they may be taking the gradual approach. Now, when you look at that CV around the globe, and you see the lots of differences between the JDs. I mean, this roles and responsibility. Some of them may be looking for some operation engineer, but the branding them as a DevOps engineer. Some of them are looking for the build and release engineer and branding them as a DevOps engineer. Some of them are looking for something like a release management people, but branding them as a DevOps engineer. So it depends. It depends on the organization how do they perceive. But one thing for sure is, whenever they hire people, no matter what kind of work they have in reality, they expect that the people should know about the DevOps. So if they get onboarded to the project, they should add some values in their evolution cycle of the towards the DevOps. So that's important. So you participants, I mean that those who's applying for the job, they must be aware of the DevOps, and whether the work is been done on the daily basis or not. That's again subject. That discretion for the company, I mean, organizations to handle. Okay, so yes, there's the difference for sure.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
but
So
it's a gradual learning.
Okay. My second question has to do with applications of these methodologies. I know that let's maybe categorize the domain into software development, let's say IT industry and other industries. For waterfall methodologies, yes, it is applicable in software industry and at the same time some other industry. Now, the same thing happened to the agile methodologies. So, and because I've attended some other agile training, and I got to know that, okay, they could be maybe applicable in some other domains apart from maybe IT industries. So, do we have maybe application of DevOps in other domains aside from IT industry? Thank you.
See, if I put it up in this way, Agile, if you look at it, we have a multiple model again in Agile itself. We have a Scrum model, we have a Kanban model, you have extreme model also, extreme programming model, XP we call it, right? And then we are having DevOps. I will not confuse you with the too many things for time being, because of people wants to keep the things very straightforward
Okay.
for the at least for the learning stage. But you know what? uh, before DevOps become popular, people started exploring all these practices what we are having in DevOps with the Agile itself, but they started calling a different model. Okay, so we have a multiple model, as I said, like Scrum, Kanban, XP, and all stuff like that. On top of that, there's a TDD model, means test-driven development. FDD model, means function-driven development. So many things which is popping here and there, and again, you should take this as like a way to optimize the project. Okay, optimize the project and development. So yeah, that's one thing here. Right now, probably I have that much of answer for this question. So we should keep it as part of sometime let's say you are working in the one project and suddenly your project is saying that, hey, we have to implement XYZ. Now we'll say, what is XYZ? Then we'll say, then they will explain you, the manager or architect or let's say CTO, we are doing X plus Y plus Z, and then we call it XYZ. Now you have heard this terminology very first time, but now you are doing XYZ. That's all. So this, whatever the adoption which we see, like DevOps, DevSecOps, Agile, and SRE, FDD, TDD, XP, Scrum, Kanban, all these things has come because of certain problems in the software development. And you may not have that problem in your project, so you're not applying for it. But DevOps will become a very generic keyword. But other keywords like which I'm discussing, you may be specific to your project or may not be. So depends on that. So tomorrow itself, let's say you are working on a project and you come up with a dev PX, and then you'll define what is a dev PX. So ultimately, that whatever you are defining, the process, model, or architecture, is to solving certain problem in your project. And if it's not solving, then there's no use of it, right? So some of the project, some of the problems which you solved it, and you named it whatever XYZ, and you design that model, then you practice within your team, and once it's become successful, then you publish that practices to the whole world, and that will become popular. So it's like that. So same thing Google did, right? They saw that they cannot implement the DevOps, but what they can do that they can bring the engineering approach to the operations team, and they named it SRE. And now they publish all their practices, and it's become very popular. So it's like that. Are you understanding?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Nothing from me.
Okay, so I think we do not have any further question on the technical front. So I'll just stop the recording, and then we'll take a offline that related to the questions related to the our batch and rest of the things also. Okay, so let me stop the recording.